Bruce have actually been through several high-profile matchups over the years. What stands out when you think of a matchup with Bruce?
Great coach. He's been around the game a long time. Understands how he wants his teams to play. Recruits that type of system, and I just extremely sound. You look at his record everywhere he's been successful, and but just the utmost respect for Bruce, and the fact that he, again, I think the key to coaching is knowing how you want to play and recruit guys and get them to play that way, and he does that as well as anyone.
What's led to them really not taking a step back these last few games with Broome out?
Well, I think it speaks to who they are as a team, and the fact that when you're the number one ranked team, and they've been there all year long, and you look at their only losses at Duke early in the year, and so you're not going to get to be a number one, number two, number five, any of those teams ranked by one guy alone. You can certainly have a guy that can anchor you down, but you've got to be able to withstand some of these type of situations through injuries. And he started the season. I would think that if you ask him, he may be thinking this might have been one of the deepest teams he's ever had. And when you start, and early in the year, they played 10 guys. I mean, you're prepared for something when you lose someone like Janai.
How difficult is it to game plan for a team where any given player can kind of step up and be the best of that game?
Well, it is. It's difficult, and we go into every game, and you'll always put up key players that the numbers tell you that you think they play through, but you talk about every player, and we would say that any player in this conference at this level has the ability to do that at any point in time. So we're not going to overlook anybody on that roster because we've seen them. And it's not just Auburn, it's everybody we play. We're not going to overlook anybody because we know that if they're at this level, they're capable of having a big night.
Igor mentioned after Vanderbilt that noise was a big factor maybe in their miscommunication. How do you prevent that happening again this time in Auburn?
I think focus, that's what we showed our last game here. It was really a neat watching the focus from the very beginning of the game. You can see the communication between the players. You can see it, and now you've got to be able to really, truly take it on the road. But you could just tell from the beginning, just little subtle, detailed things. Before the play was happening, you saw guys pointing out, doing this, doing that. You saw that happening. And when players start really communicating like that on the court, that's when you know they're really locked in and focused.
Coach, what do you think jump-started Felix this week? I mean, that was pretty so active, on the boards and everything Wednesday night, Tuesday night.
Well, again, I think it takes time. I think anytime you go from, one system to another, he certainly has played against high-level competition, since he's been in college, but still getting comfortable with what he's doing, seeing some of it develop for him, see it happening, and Felix works hard. I've said many times, you don't really know what is in a person until you really get to spend time with them day in and day out. And we knew what we could see and watching Felix when he was in high school, then college. But he's so much more, and that's why we said we're not going to put him in a box. We want to try to get him to keep going because we think there's more there. But his mindset when he's playing like he is right now, he gives us something that we haven't had in a while.
How hard is it to defend a team with four guys who are shooting 39+% from the three-point line?
Like you would imagine, they're every spot. You got to be disciplined. You have to really stick together. And like we've said before, we're not asking one person to guard one guy. We believe in our team defense, and but that's why Auburn's so good. They shoot the ball as well as anybody in the country, and it takes a lot of focus, takes a lot of discipline, and to make sure you stay locked in throughout the possession.
What's going to be key for your post players against Caldwell in there, especially that bigger?
Same thing. They're big, they're strong, and it's always about space. Trying to obviously you don't want them to be able to just do what they want to do. They don't, believe me, they're going to work as hard as they can to keep us from doing what we want to do, and we have to do the same. And whether it's as a team, but also in all those individual matchups like that, knowing that what they're trying to do, trying to take it away from them.
Is it more difficult to prepare, not knowing if Broome will try to play or if he'll be out
Not
completely?
really. We prepare the same because, well, we'll know, in our league now, I think, is it Friday night? They send it, so, but, we'll prepare that, but, because it's no different going into a game when, you might prepare for somebody to get in foul trouble, they're gone, you gotta be ready for who comes in behind them, and so you go about it the same way.
Is Chaz doing a better job against Mississippi State working to get open and getting his shots?
He did. I thought he did, and I do again go back to that game talking about the details earlier, the communication. I thought our post guys are really looking to screen in a really good way, but they can't screen if there's not some separation from his man where they can get their bodies on him, and you get banged up a little bit like that, obviously, but he's got to get the separation to allow us to screen for him.
What have you seen from Pettiford as a freshman to be the spark for Auburn?
High level guy can score the ball, guy that can give him much room, he gets going, and he's just a high level, highly talented player.
What's the next step for Cade in his development? Obviously, he took a big step this year.
Consistent, it's always consistency and continuing to understand what he has to do night in and night out right now. And then as time goes on, Cade's role is going to change tremendously over the next year or so because of he's going to work. But he's a freshman getting out there, but right now it would be just consistency with what we need him to do defensively and what we need from him on the offensive end.
You say his role's going to change. What's kind of the final evolution for Cade Phillips that you see?
I can't tell you that because he's a freshman, but based on his work ethic, again, I wouldn't put him in a box. I think he's capable of doing probably a lot more than we all might think right now, because I think anytime you've got a competitive spirit like he does, and he's already improved a lot. I've said many times what he and Felix did to help each other throughout the summer and fall was maybe the hardest thing that anybody on our team's gone through, because they had no substitutions and they went at each other every day, and so I'm excited about Cade's future.
Coach, in a league like this year, do you think does that help you prepare for March, or do you kind of beat each other up?
Rob, that's interesting. I've been asked that question a lot the last couple of days. I don't know if there is an answer. I think it's really interesting as, I don't watch the NFL much, but I do like hearing guys talk during the playoffs, and when I hear these talking heads talk about the teams they think will be in the Super Bowl and they're not there right now, I think it goes to show you that people and those guys really study the game like you would expect to be commentators like that. You don't know, you don't know until it really happens, I just look at, I can look at the college playoff. I thought the team that got the bad end of the deal was Oregon. If you think about 8-9 game between Tennessee and the eventual national, it doesn't make sense. But I don't know what anybody thought coming through there. So we could talk about it. I could be philosophical and say, well, I can tell you that iron sharpens iron. It's going to help us at the end. When you get to the end of the year, it does become a lot based on matchups, how it plays out and where it is. But I don't know. I could argue it probably both ways, but I'm just worried about this week.
What are maybe some of those conversations you're having with Igor as maybe he tries to be a little bit more consistent or efficient on offense?
Just that, because we need him to do it. We need that from him, and he wants to do it. Igor loves the game. I've got the utmost respect for what he's no different than anybody coming in for his first year. He's been in 2 programs where it was more, structured a little bit in the way we play. It's a lot of read, react, and so he's learning to do all that. But he's impacted a lot of games with his rebounding already. But we just need him to, and we know that he can shoot the ball. There's no question in our mind with that. But we need him to. We're trying to get him more involved to do a lot more for us on the offensive end.
Any fatherly advice for Justin Caldwell after he and Kim had their baby?
I've been doing that for about 3 months. And I'm really excited for both of them. He was excited. He came back yesterday and he tried to tell me, "You guys didn't tell me all of it." And I said, "We did. You just didn't listen." And we obviously, but I really am excited for both of them, and so every day now I'm gonna get some kind of details that I can eventually use against Coach Caldwell. Kim.
How much did becoming a parent change you as a coach?
Unbelievable. It's one of the greatest gifts ever when, you know, God blesses you with a child, and now being a grandfather, I can tell you being a grandparent is not overrated. You know, it's unbelievable. But when God blesses someone with a child, and I mean, he came in last night. He had a beam on his face. You know, he really did, and it was neat because I can imagine. You know, my daughter was born on the day of my very first conference game as a head coach, and I can remember going to the game, but so excited to get back, and I can remember sitting there holding her for 2.5 hours from midnight till 2 in the morning until she had to go back to her mom to feed, and I can just remember the glow on her face, and I didn't want to let her go, and I'm sure he feels like that right now too. And the same was true with my son, obviously, but I just, the fact that I asked Kim one day, I said, who would plan on having a baby in the middle of January? Knowing that my daughter was born on the 9th of January, you know, but I didn't have to deliver it, thank goodness. You know?
What's maybe the biggest piece of advice you would give Justin about, you know, coach life balance?
That this isn't all, this is what we do. It can't be who you are. If I'd say that to any coach, if you think you're gonna, if your job's your identity, you're gonna really struggle, you know, because there's so much more. And I did it. I put it first, and it was some of the worst times in my life that I wish I could go back and be 36 years old again, and I'd do so many things differently because I lost my way, and but thank God that He didn't leave me, and but that's my foundation now, my relationship with Jesus Christ. And but the fact is, if you make this bigger than it is, it'll eat you alive.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Joe, when y'all's